My name is Jake Morrison, and I run a home renovation business in Cedar Heights, Michigan. Population 12,000, give or take whoever left for Detroit this week. The kind of place where everyone knows your business before you do. 3 months ago, my wife Amanda looked me straight in the eye during what used to be our date night and said, "Don't touch me, Jake. I have self-respect." Self-respect. Like I was some kind of disease she might catch. I sat there on our sagging couch, beer getting warm in my hand, watching her scroll through Instagram. Her perfectly manicured nails, $60 at the salon every 2 weeks, tapped against her phone screen. She wore that new workout outfit, the one that cost more than my tool belt. "Maybe you're saving yourself for someone special," I said, trying to keep it light. "Like Jesus, or that trainer at the gym." She didn't even look up. Don't be ridiculous. But here's the thing about being married to someone for 8 years. You learn to read the tells. The way she angled her phone away from me, how she started showering immediately after coming home from the gym, the new perfume that smelled expensive and desperate. The next morning, she needed a favor. Something about picking up her dry cleaning because she had back-to-back showings. Amanda worked real estate, or at least that's what she called driving around town in her leased BMW, taking selfies in empty houses. "Don't ask me," I said, stirring my coffee. "I have self-respect." Her face went red. "You're such a child, Jake. This is why we have problems." She stormed out, heels clicking on our cheap linoleum like machine gun fire. I watched through the kitchen window as she reversed out of our driveway, nearly clipping Mrs. Peterson's mailbox. That's when I found the receipt. It was stuffed between the couch cushions, crumpled like she'd tried to throw it away, but missed. The Riverside Inn, Cedar Heights' only decent hotel. Room service for 2. Champagne. Chocolate-covered strawberries. The works. The date was last Tuesday. The same night she claimed to be showing the Henderson property until 9 p.m. I smoothed out the receipt, studying Amanda's signature at the bottom. Her handwriting looked different somehow. Looser. Happier. My phone buzzed. Text from Danny Rodriguez, my best friend since high school. He tended bar at Murphy's, the local dive where I went to watch boxing and forget about my problems. "Need to talk. Come by tonight. Important." I pocketed the receipt and grabbed my keys. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Murphy's bar hadn't changed since 1987, and Danny liked it that way. Dim lighting, cracked leather stools, and a jukebox that only played songs about heartbreak and drinking. Perfect atmosphere for bad news. Danny was wiping down glasses when I walked in, his ex-cop instincts sizing up the empty room. He'd retired early after taking a bullet in the shoulder during a domestic dispute. Now he served beer and collected stories. "Jake." He nodded toward the back booth. "We need to talk." I ordered a whiskey, neat. Danny poured himself one too, which meant this conversation was going to hurt. "It's about Amanda," he said, settling into the booth across from me. I figured. "She's been coming in here? Not alone?" The whiskey burned, but not as much as the confirmation. "The trainer? Chad Brennan. You know him?" I knew the type. Mid-20s, protein powder for brains, the kind of guy who took mirror selfies and called it a career. He ran some kind of fitness influencer account, posting workout videos for lonely housewives. "How long?" I asked. "Month, maybe 2. Started innocent enough. Coffee after her workouts, then dinner. Last week they were practically eating each other's faces in the parking lot." Danny slid his phone across the table. Security footage from the bar's exterior camera showed Amanda's BMW parked next to a red Mustang. Through the windshields I could see 2 figures locked in what definitely wasn't a business meeting. "I'm sorry, man. Thought you should know." I finished my whiskey and stood up. "Thanks, Danny. I owe you one. What are you going to do?" "Haven't decided yet." But that was a lie. I'd already started planning. That night, I followed Amanda to her client dinner. She drove to the Riverside Inn, the same place from the receipt. Chad's Mustang was already there, parked under a broken streetlight like he was trying to hide. I sat in my truck across the parking lot and watched them go inside. Amanda wore her little red dress, the one she used to wear for me. They held hands walking to the elevator. I didn't storm in, didn't make a scene. Instead, I took pictures, timestamps, license plates, evidence. Then I drove home and did something Amanda never expected. I got smart. Our household ran through shared accounts, shared devices, shared everything. Amanda wasn't tech-savvy enough to cover her tracks properly. She'd synced her phone to our family iPad, which meant every text message, every photo, every late-night conversation with Chad appeared on the device sitting in our kitchen. I spent the next 3 hours reading through their messages, taking screenshots, building a timeline. The things they said about me made my jaw clench, but I kept reading. Amanda. He's so boring, never wants to do anything exciting. Chad. When are you going to leave him? Amanda. Soon. I just need to figure out the finances first. Chad. Can't wait to have you all to myself, babe. The last message was from tonight, sent 20 minutes ago. Room 237. Can't wait to feel your hands on me. I closed the iPad and walked to my workshop in the garage. I had some planning to do. The next morning, Amanda woke up to 17 payment failure notifications on her phone. Credit cards, gym membership, hair salon, everything. Jake! She screamed from the bedroom. What did you do? I was already dressed, coffee in hand, keys ready. Morning, honey. Sleep well? My cards aren't working. Weird. Maybe there's a problem with the bank. There wasn't a problem with the bank. I'd simply moved our joint account funds to a new account in my name only. Perfectly legal, since I was the primary account holder and the one who'd set up all our banking years ago. Amanda stumbled into the kitchen wearing her silk robe, phone pressed to her ear. Yes, I need to speak to someone about my account. What do you mean, frozen? I kissed her cheek on my way out. Have a great day, sweetheart. Try not to spend too much. My first stop was Murphy's. Danny was setting up for the lunch crowd, arranging bottles with military precision. I need a favor, I said. Name it. Chad Brennan. What do you know about his business? Danny's cop instincts kicked in. He pulled out a notebook, flipped through pages of observations, and overheard conversations. Personal trainer, but that's not where his money comes from. He's got some kind of side hustle. Supplements, maybe? I've seen him making deals in the parking lot. What kind of deals? Cash only. Nervous customers. The kind of nervous that comes with buying something that might not be FDA approved. Perfect. That afternoon, I drove to Fitness First, the gym where Amanda and Chad conducted their romance. I'd done some renovation work there last year, which meant the owner, Mike Sullivan, knew and trusted me. Mike was in his office, going through invoices. He looked up when I knocked. Jake, how's business? Can't complain. Listen, Mike, I need to ask you something. It's about Chad Brennan. Mike's expression shifted. What about him? I've been hearing things. About him and married clients, inappropriate things. What kind of things? I pulled out my phone, showed him one of the tamer photos from the parking lot. This is my wife, Mike. She's been training with Chad for 3 months. Mike studied the photo, his face darkening. This was taken here? Your parking lot, last Tuesday night. I'll talk to him. There's more. I showed him screenshots of Chad's messages, the ones where he bragged about his lonely housewife clientele, and how easy they were to manipulate. Mike's jaw tightened. I run a respectable business, Jake. This kind of thing could ruin my reputation. I know. That's why I came to you first. That evening, Amanda came home furious. Her face was flushed, her hands shaking with rage. You talked to Mike Sullivan. Did I? Chad's been suspended pending investigation. His training sessions are canceled. I looked up from my dinner. That's unfortunate. Maybe he should have kept his business professional. You're destroying my life. I'm not doing anything, Amanda. Maybe Chad's just reaping what he sowed. She stormed upstairs. I heard her on the phone, probably calling Chad, probably planning their next move. I didn't care. I was already 3 steps ahead. Amanda tried to fight back, but she'd chosen the wrong battlefield. She filed a harassment complaint at the gym, claiming I was stalking her and making threats. I'd anticipated this. When Mike called me in for a meeting, I brought my phone and played the recording I'd made of Amanda's conversation with her sister the night before. I need to get Jake in trouble somehow. Amanda's voice came through the speaker clearly. Maybe if I say he threatened me, Mike will ban him from the gym. Mike's face went stone cold. She's lying. Seems that way. I'm sorry, Jake. I should have trusted you. No hard feelings. You were protecting your business. That same day, Chad's world started falling apart. Someone, definitely not me, I was home fixing a leaky faucet with 3 witnesses, had tipped off the state health department about unlicensed supplement sales at local gyms. Chad's locker was raided. They found unmarked bottles, cash, and a customer list that read like a who's who of Cedar Heights housewives. His Instagram account, which he'd built up to 30,000 followers, suddenly got flooded with comments from former customers complaining about fake products and broken promises. Screenshots of his arrogant messages started circulating. One of his influencer friends, a fitness model named Tiffany, posted a video exposing Chad's entire operation. She'd apparently been documenting his illegal sales for weeks, waiting for the right moment to strike. Chad Brennan is a fraud, she announced to her 100,000 followers. Here's proof. The video went viral in Cedar Heights. By evening, everyone in town had seen it. Amanda's social circle started crumbling next. Her girl squad, 4 other real estate agents who spent their time gossiping at wine bars, received anonymous packages containing printouts of Amanda's text messages with Chad. The messages where she called them boring suburban zombies and desperate housewives with nothing better to do than judge other people. Jennifer Walsh, Amanda's closest friend, posted the screenshots on Facebook with the caption, "When you find out what your friend really thinks of you." The post got 67 comments in 2 hours. Amanda's name was mentioned in every single one. Her boss at Pinnacle Realty, Tom Henderson, called her into his office after receiving an anonymous tip about her work events that weren't actually work events. Someone had sent him a detailed timeline of Amanda's affair, complete with hotel receipts and photos. Tom was old school, family values, the kind of man who believed real estate agents should be pillars of the community. Amanda was placed on unpaid leave pending review. That night, she confronted me in our kitchen. "I know you're behind all of this." "Behind what?" "Don't play stupid, Jake. The bank account, the gym, Chad's problems, my friends turning against me." I set down my beer and looked at her calmly. "Amanda, I think you're being paranoid. Maybe these problems are just consequences of your choices." "My choices?" "Well, you chose to have an affair. You chose to lie to your friends about them. You chose to use company time for personal business. I didn't make those choices for you." Her hand flew toward my face. I caught her wrist easily. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," I said quietly. "Domestic violence charges would really complicate your situation." She jerked her hand away, tears starting to form. "You're not the man I married." "You're right. The man you married was naive enough to trust you. Consider this my education." 2 weeks later, Amanda was broke, unemployed, and friendless. Chad had fled town after his supplement scandal exploded into a federal investigation, but I wasn't finished. My brother Kevin called on a Thursday morning. We hadn't spoken in 2 years, not since our father's funeral, but his voice was urgent. "Jake, we need to talk. It's about Amanda." "What about her?" "Not over the phone. Meet me at the old millworks tonight, 9 o'clock. Come alone." The abandoned millworks sat on the edge of town, a rust-eaten monument to Cedar Heights' better days. I arrived early, parking behind a collapsed loading dock where my truck wouldn't be visible from the road. Kevin was already there, pacing near the main entrance. He looked older, grayer, like he'd been carrying a heavy secret. "Thanks for coming," he said. "What's this about, Kevin?" He pulled out his phone, showed me a photo. It was Amanda, but younger, maybe 5 years ago. She was with a man I didn't recognize at first, then realized it was Kevin with shorter hair. "We had an affair," he said simply. "3 years ago, when you and I weren't speaking. She came to me after one of your fights, said she needed someone to talk to." The world tilted sideways. "You slept with my wife." "I'm sorry, Jake. I was angry at you, she was angry at you, and we made a mistake. Several mistakes." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I'm the one who told Danny about her and Chad. I've been watching her, feeling guilty, and when I saw her cheating again..." He shrugged. "I thought you deserved to know the truth. All of it." I stared at my brother, processing this information. Amanda hadn't just betrayed me with Chad. She'd been doing this for years. "There's more," Kevin said. "The miscarriage she told everyone about 2 years ago, the one that got her so much sympathy from your friends and neighbors. What about it?" "Never happened. She lied because she wanted attention, wanted people to feel sorry for her." Something cold and calculating settled in my chest. "Can you prove that?" "Medical records. I helped her fake the whole thing, got her friend who works at the hospital to create false documentation. I kept copies, just in case." "Why?" "Insurance, I guess. I knew someday this would all come out." I looked at my brother, seeing him clearly for the first time in years. "You're going to help me finish this." "Jake, you owe me, Kevin. Big time." The next evening was the annual Cedar Heights Community Festival. The whole town gathered on the green for food trucks, local bands, and speeches from city council members. Amanda would be there. She never missed a chance to be seen in public. I arrived early and found Mike Sullivan setting up the sound system for the evening's entertainment. A few favors and a promise to fix his office bathroom for free got me 5 minutes alone with the microphone. Amanda appeared around 7, wearing a new dress she couldn't afford and trying to blend in with a group of women who no longer wanted her company. She looked desperate, clinging to the edges of conversations, pretending everything was normal. Chad was long gone, but his absence made Amanda look even more pathetic. She kept checking her phone, probably hoping for a message that would never come. At 8:30, during the break between musical acts, I walked onto the small stage. "Evening, everyone. Sorry to interrupt, but I have something important to share with the community." Amanda's face went pale. She started pushing through the crowd toward the stage, but Kevin stepped into her path. "Many of you know my wife, Amanda Morrison. She worked in real estate here in town." "Jake, don't," Amanda called out, but her voice was lost in the murmur of the crowd. "Amanda's been going through a difficult time lately. Some of you might have heard about her affair with Chad Brennan, the personal trainer who was recently investigated for fraud." The crowd was completely silent now, everyone straining to hear. "But what you might not know is that this wasn't her first affair. 3 years ago, she was sleeping with my own brother, Kevin Morrison." Gasps rippled through the audience. Kevin stepped forward, his face grim but resolute. "It's true," he said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I'm ashamed of what we did." "And the miscarriage she told everyone about?" I continued. "The one that got her so much sympathy and support from this community? That was a lie, too." I held up a manila envelope. "Medical records proving Amanda Morrison has never been pregnant, never had a miscarriage, and deliberately deceived all of you for attention and sympathy." The crowd erupted, voices raised in anger, shock, disbelief. Amanda stood in the middle of it all, tears streaming down her face, completely exposed. "This woman has lied to her friends, her employer, her community, and her husband for years. She's taken your sympathy, your support, your friendship, and thrown it all away for cheap thrills and social media attention." I dropped the envelope at the edge of the stage, papers scattered in the evening breeze. I'm done being married to a liar and a cheat. Amanda, consider this your public divorce announcement. I walked off the stage and through the crowd, which parted like water before me. Behind me, I could hear Amanda sobbing, calling my name, begging people to listen to her side of the story. But nobody was listening anymore. Kevin caught up with me at my truck. That was brutal, Jake. She earned every bit of it. What happens now? I looked back at the festival, where Amanda stood alone in a circle of pointing fingers and disgusted faces. Her perfect life, her social status, her carefully constructed image, all of it lay in ruins around her feet. Now she gets to live with the consequences of her choices. I drove home to my empty house, poured myself a whiskey, and sat on my front porch. Mrs. Peterson waved from her yard, giving me a thumbs up. "Heard what happened at the festival," she called out. "Good for you, Jake. That girl needed to learn some respect." I raised my glass to her and smiled. Amanda never came home that night, or any night after.